So in this case, the person who's subject to the review is VM. She died in February 2020. She was in her mid-80s and had been declining cognitively for about 4 years, more significantly in the last couple of years of her life. She lived alone in a flat in Sale, which was warden controlled. She got a close friend who provided her with support, who lived nearby. But her family, who contributed to the review, lived down in Hampshire, mainly a son and a daughter-in-law. So they were providing good support, but from a distance. And as I say, VM had been in cognitive decline for a while. And during 2019, there was a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. She was twice under the care of the dementia crisis prevention team, who work short-term with patients at risk of admission to hospital to try and stabilise their condition. And she was also under the care of the community mental health team during 2018, but they'd struggled to engage with VM. Her son said that his mum was a really independent person. Until her memory started to suffer, she'd travelled independently in the UK and abroad. And although she'd never been able to read and write, she really valued her independence. And whenever her son broached the subject of potentially considering going into residential care, she was really dead against it and was very resistant to even having carers in. But she did have a care package from around the spring of 2018 through into 2019, which was stopped by her son for a period because he was dissatisfied with the care she was receiving. And then a new care agency came in towards the end of 2019. There were a lot of concerns by this stage about VM's ability to care for herself safely in her own home and to manage the risks in your own home. She was becoming quite confused. There were some touches of paranoia. She became a little fixated on a man who lived on the same site as her, who she felt was coming into her flat and stealing things, which wasn't the case. As I say, she was under the care of the Dementia Crisis Prevention Team in the latter part of 2019, and they discharged her from their care when they were satisfied that she was relatively stable. They prescribed medication. The carers had been reinstated, and they were satisfied that she could be discharged. However, in January 2020, two quite serious concerns were raised about VM wandering away from her flat during the nighttime hours. And fortunately, on both occasions, after becoming disoriented and lost, Good Samaritans found her and returned her to her home, and no harm was done. But her son and her carers raised concerns about the dangers involved in her wandering off with her GP and with adult social care. And her death in early February was as a result of being knocked over by a lorry while she was out shopping. Not during the hours of darkness, but during the hours of daytime. Concerns escalated about VM towards the end of January, and both adult social care and her GP were closely involved. The GP felt that she should be assessed under the Mental Health Act. The GP was unable to get her assessed under the Mental Health Act, and on the Friday before she died the following week, both her GP and a social worker from adult social care were working very diligently to try and make sure that she was safe. And at the end of that day, the GP went home thinking that she'd arranged for VM to be assessed under the Mental Health Act, whereas the social worker from adult social care went home that Friday evening thinking she was going to be admitted to hospital, where she might have been assessed by psychiatric liaison. So quite a confused situation developed.